Well, I was proud of our guys last week. I think any time that you win, I know winning's not easy, and to accomplish something that hadn't been done here since 1966 certainly speaks volumes for those guys. Uh, we celebrated for the day, and then we get back to work. I thought we had a good start yesterday to a week. Going up to Charlottesville is always a challenge. Uh, Tough place to play. They're 3-2. I think their two losses have come to the two teams that are, a combined 10-2, and it'll be a tough game. Defensively, they're in the top 25 in the country. They're in the top part of our conference in most every stat, and offensively, they have a big physical offensive line. So, it'll be a challenge for all phases of our football team. So with that, I guess we'll throw it open to some questions.
What do they do well defensively that you anticipate?
I thought they really played hard. They limited the big plays. We didn't hit a lot of big plays, and the defensive lineman that they had, the Villano kid, probably played as good as anybody that I've played against in a long, long time. I mean, he had a heck of a game. We had him for 22 tackles. He was all over the field. He was sideline to sideline. I mean, he was tremendous. And, I thought they played hard and played good and kept us away from big plays. And we did enough to where we would stop ourselves with penalties or a miscue some way. And we had some opportunities to hit some big plays and didn't hit them, especially early. And, the game just kind of went as it went. It was 21-3. I think I don't know what the time was when they broke the long run in the fourth quarter, but they broke the long play for a touchdown and then came back and we didn't move the ball and they got a bad punt and they scored another touchdown. So it was they got right back into the game, and it's been unusual that we didn't answer when that happened, but we didn't this time, and the defense found a way to get them stopped the last time they had it in the quarter. They had scored the other two times they had the ball in the fourth quarter, and the third time we got them stopped, and then we were able to run out the clock.
Coach. Coach.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in your offensive meetings after that game, is it pretty apparent to the players they understand? Oh, this if we did this, it would have made a huge difference. Does it come pretty clear to them once they watch it on film?
Oh yeah, I mean it's like anything. You watch the tape and you see what you didn't do right, or what you missed, or didn't get the block, or missed the throw, or dropped the ball, or whatever. And it's like anything. It's pretty evident that way. So when they saw it, they know.
Well, this is a similar question. I wonder, you had commented last week, somebody asked you if this team had been tested enough, and you said, we've been tested plenty, I don't want to be tested anymore. That said, in a game like this, you had mentioned after the game Saturday Tevin should have pitched it a few more times and given it and so forth.
Well,
is there some benefit?
I don't think I said he should have pitched it. I said I don't think he would have carried it 36 times or whatever, 32 times if he had gotten the thing right. Wasn't just pitching. There was some inside play. We should have handed it off inside and done some of that. And at the same time, when guys are in your face in there, it makes it really hard when you're not getting anybody knocked back or you're not. There was some of that. There always is. We missed some plays in the passing game. We missed some blocks on the perimeter when he had the ball. They were running a lot of 2-3 exchanges, which is nothing new. People have done that for a long time. The very first time he carried the ball was a 2-3 exchange, the same way they ran the rest of the game. Except the very first time he carried it and gained 22 yards, we blocked the guy. The next few times we didn't always get him blocked. And number 11 was he had a hard time reading him. He did a nice job. He's a good player.
Tevin commented on him after the game.
Yeah.
Mackel, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a 2-3 exchange. What is that? What was the guy doing that made it difficult to read him?
Well, it wasn't the read. He got the read right on the 2-3 exchange. What happens is it's just like a stunt. I mean, they're running the safety's coming for the quarterback, and the outside linebacker's going for the pitch, and they just exchange responsibilities. And I mean, we practice it every day. It's not something that we weren't expecting or don't see. We just didn't do a very good job executing against it at times. And we were there. We just missed the guy. I mean, there was 3 or 4 times we were there to block, and we just miss him. You know.
Coach, Virginia's coming off of a bye week. How much of a factor do you think that plays in a game where one team's coming off a bye week and the other team had to play on the Saturday before?
I don't know. It can work both ways, I think. You know, once you've played as many games as we have, you get this deep in the season halfway through, probably just the chance to refresh physically is more important than anything else and heal some bumps and bruises. You know, I don't know that it's a huge advantage. Yeah. That's probably an advantage preparing for any offense. I mean, the more days you get, the better you should be prepared no matter what you do. You know, I don't know. I think that might be overhyped a little bit. It's along the same lines as you have to play disciplined defense. I mean, we'll have to play disciplined defense against Virginia this week. You know, if we're not disciplined and our guys don't play the gaps they've got and their responsibilities, will get gashed. So you have to play discipline every week.
In terms of the offensive line, when you went back and watched tape and evaluated performances, will there be some changes?
Not one of their better games, yeah. Well, I don't know about changes. I mean, we've got the guards are who they are in the center. Shaq started to play some more. He played more. He played in the fourth quarter. The tackles, there's a 3-man rotation actually, and you know, he'll probably start the guys who play the best this week in practice and grade it out the best. But that's not going to change the way they play. They're all going to play about the same.
Coach, how pleased were you with the linebacking play, knowing that you guys were very short-handed?
Well, I thought that we did some good things. You know, Quayshawn made some good plays. Certainly, the interception was a nice play. Julian is a good player. I mean, you know how I feel about him. The guys who went in did some things. I mean, they had some ups and some downs. So it's a learning experience. They got that experience now, and you would expect them to play better the next time out. But all in all, I think they did okay.
Good sign. Well, you get the win, and you get at least they get some more reps, and you start building a little depth, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and anytime you can play a lot of guys, that's good. It's good for morale, and it's good for the team that they get the experience and everything with playing.
What kind of challenges does Virginia pose to you defensively?
Well, they're experienced. They've got a lot of seniors that have played a lot, big on the defensive line, like most people you play. You know, it's not any different than most people you play in the league. I mean, like I said, statistically, they're one of the better teams in the league right now. They're top 25 in the country. So it'll be a challenge. We'll have to play a lot better than we played last Saturday for sure.
Paul, you'd commented that Charlottesville's a tough place to play. Other than the quality of the opponent and maybe crowd noise, what makes one place, quote-unquote, tough to play as opposed to another?
I don't know. You just look historically. I mean, historically it's been a hard place to play, I think. I've only been there one time, and we were fortunate we won. But I just look at the record, you know, with Georgia Tech going up to Charlottesville, and historically they've had a horrible record up there. It's been a tough place to go play. You know, I can't give you a specific for why. I guess because they've had pretty good teams. So usually that's what causes you to struggle when you go somewhere.
Coach, looking at the standings with you and Wake Forest up top, not much was predicted. What does that say about the preseason prognostications?
Well, it'd be like me trying to make a midseason prognostication. I think you'll have to wait till the end of the year and see where everybody fits and see how right they were. To this point, they haven't been exactly right. But, it's like I said at the time, I don't put a lot of stock in those things anyway. It could change in a week or two, though. It could change right back. You just don't ever know.
This is kind of a tangential question, spinning off that one. Do you think there's more prognosticating now than there was when you got into coaching? Because I've heard some coaches complain that's all sports media is now, is people making predictions and then not owning up to them when they look like fools later.
Well, first thing, you'd have to define tangential for me. You got me. Is there more? If people talk, it's like everybody's got an opinion, and they have short memory. It's like I tell our guys all the time. All the guys who are patting you on the back and telling you what a great job you're doing, as soon as you lose the game, are going to be telling you you're off. It's just the nature. I mean, in coaching, you learn that early on. Sometimes players have to learn it. It's their job to write something, I guess, and to predict things and to voice their opinions. I think you take it for what it's worth. You just take it as opinions and what they're talking about, and you don't worry about it, and you just kind of move on. It's honestly, I've never worried about what anybody said that they thought we were going to do or predicted where we'd finish. Sometimes if you can use it for motivation, it's good. But other than that, I don't pay a lot of attention to it. If most of the guys who were doing it were that good at it, they wouldn't have their job. They'd be set for life if they could predict who's going to win every game.
I noticed, at least with one change with the kickoff return team, Richard Watson was out there. Could you talk about how he did and just in general how the guys you had in there did?
Richard did okay. Morgan Carter was out there. He got a nice block on Tony's long run. There were several guys that were different, and we need to be more consistent. We had the one big return, but we got to be more consistent. And, certainly we still got a lot of work to do in that area. We're not where we'd like to be. I mean, we had the one big one and the other were just so-so. They weren't anything to write home about.
Sort of on the line about Richard, with the B-backs, obviously that was a big competition in the spring and summer, and then obviously, at least so far, it's looked like David and Preston have shared most of the carries. I'm curious how the attitude has been with the other two.
Their attitude's been really good. I think Charles is working really hard in practice. In fact, I grabbed him yesterday and told him he's busted his tail really, really hard. I mean, last week he practiced as harder than anybody. And we've just got to get some ball security stuff worked out and some things like that, and we need to get him in the game. Richard Watson's a great kid. He's had an attitude. He's like anybody. He wants to play, but I think he's a good team guy. He's had a great attitude. I talked to Richard yesterday for a long time, not about football, but just about in general, school, and I told him how much I appreciated his attitude and the way he's approached things. So both those guys have been real positive.
Paul, is Coach Grove too far removed to be of special assistance in scouting their personnel this week, or is he still a big assist in that category going into
He knows those guys. For the nature of what we do, we're going to do what we do. I mean, I'm not going to change anything. He's 2 years removed. I'm not sure that he's got a beat on their defense. That's not what he's supposed to be doing. It might help him a little more on the other side than it would us, knowing those guys, knowing the speed of the receivers or the how fast some of the backs might be or some of those things. But for us, it's not going to change what we do.